Hey guys, welcome back to the second part of this video. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to code the detection, how to create a goblin torch, and how to make him attack my player, and how to also implement the life system, as you can see. Alright, so go to navigation. We are going to change the path desired to 100, target desired to 500, and then path max distance we can make it very large. So I'm just going to play around with the properties. You can make it as you wish, depending on how you feel it, I guess. So these parameters on avoidance, I think they are really important. You can just pause the video and try to write them down, because they are helping in separating the player. Let's attach a script. Okay. So we are just going to drag and drop, and before you left, you press Control. Let's copy these variables, and I'm going to rename it navigation, progress bar, up, side, and down. All right. Now we are going to create a variable. We are going to call it life is equal to 5. The speed will be equal to 150. Variable direction, the direction will be equal to 0. Let's create a variables for the timer for the attack. So variable attack interval will be a float of 0.5 second. An attack timer, will set it by default to 0. Another variable is to detect if I can attack. That means I have to create a boolean to check if he's truly attacking, or if he's not attacking, rename it to false. So we need two variables. The pawn is in range, or the warrior in range, so that our goblin can attack it. Let's create variables for the target. So we are going to export types of variables. So variable tower, we call a type node 2D. Just going to copy that line and paste it multiple times and change the variable name. We need house, we need a castle, we need pawn, warrior. Let's add more. We need knight, we need mine also. So most of these things I haven't created, but I'll make it for next time, next videos, I bet. Let's create a function for seeking the warrior, for our goblin to search the warrior when he's in his surroundings. So you already know this kind of block. I use it in my previous videos on how to use all of these things. So check if is instant valid, warrior, the colon, and we are going down there. Navigation dot target position will be equal to the warrior, the variable we just created on top there. The warrior global position, since the warrior will be moving around and moving a lot. All right. Now down here, else if we can't find our warrior in the surrounding. So we're going to change our target. So else pound in get 3, for pound get in 3 dot get node in group. We need to look for our pawn in a group. Sorry, our warrior. I made a mistake. So we need to look for we need to look for our warrior in the group warriors. If the warrior is in the group warriors, we are going to get it. So we say if instance valid in the group, if that instance warrior is valid, we're just going to navigation, var navigation, I guess. var target, we are going to change our target. So var target is equal to warrior. All right. Now navigation dot target desired distance, target position. We can check for the target position is equal to target. All right. global position. Seems perfect to me. So we're going to copy all this function and we are going to just pass it and change some variables. Guys, I really call you to be careful because a lot of mistakes can happen while you are copying a block of code from one to another. You might forget to change some variables. Some variables name might be called where it's not supposed to be called. So be really careful. As you can see from me here, I call for warrior instead of, I call for pound instead of warrior. So we need to be very careful. Names of the group, names of variables. This might be very, very tough to remember. So just pay attention every time you're coding. I try to really pay attention to my codes. So some of the time I just go line by line. Or when I run my game, then it doesn't work. I just made it like that. So let's call a function, find the closest. We are going to create our own function. We're going to call it find the closest target. So the main idea behind this is to check, our goblin has to check which of the targets that you have to look for, which one is the closest to him, whether is a warrior, is a pound, a tower, a house, so that you can go to it. So that's what basically my block of code is going to do. That's what this block of code is going to be run. All right, so for now on, I'll be just checking for the warriors and the pound. So I don't really need to add for the houses. We add it later. Okay, now for groups, in groups, to check, we need to create a condition in which we gotta check in a array if our target is inside the array, is inside that group, so that we can make him as the main target or the first target on the list of targets. So if is instance valid, of course we need to check if what you're looking for still available. If is instance valid enemy, the distance is equal to global position dot distance to enemy dot global position. All right, as I keep on telling you, if these codes are too much for you and if you don't really understand them, don't forget to tell me down in the comments so that I can explain everything to you, especially for those who don't really have experience in coding with Godot. I can share with you some tricks and tips. Then most of the time, just keep notes of everything that you can't really remember by head. I still keep on taking my notes for some of the things I don't understand. So now if the closest enemy, we need to change our navigation. Our navigation is a node agent study that we need to check our target position. Our navigation is going to switch to the closest enemy. All right, now let's create a function. Is a define user function. So we're going to call the ready function. The ready function runs only once when the game starts. So when the game starts, we add our goblin to obstacle so that they can avoid each other. We add it to the group goblins. Then our progress bar sets its max value to the life. The max value that we defined for life was defined as a variable just at the beginning of the code. You can go and check. Now let's call the function physics process delta. We are going to implement our progress bar life every time basically every time the game is running, we are going to implement it. So now let's create a timer function for our goblin to attack. So if pound is in range is equal to true, attack timer. Basically in this condition, we are going to reduce by delta. Delta is a variable, I guess is a variable. I don't know exactly its value, but it's going to reduce from the predefined attack timer that we create. Every time our attack timer will reach 0, our goblin can attack. Is kind of creating an effect of attacking by time and not every single frame, every single second. So it's going to attack his target or my warrior or my pawn by a set time. All right, here I call those two functions every time the time reaches 0. I call two functions that I haven't created. That's why you can see the error. Okay, now if navigation return. All right, now we need to create variables. I need to create var current agent's position is equal to global position. Then the next path position is equal to navigation dot get next path position. Let's create another variable. We're going to call it new velocity. New velocity. All right. Our new velocity is equal to current agent position into dot direction to next path position into the speed, a variable that you created at the beginning of this code. All right, let's go a little bit down here. If navigation, let's align this. If navigation dot avoidance available, so is to check if let's say I have two goblins or more, then they are moving toward a same target. I don't want them to interpole. I don't want to get all of them getting on top of each other. I want them to avoid also each other. So they will set this in order to reduce their speed. That's what basically my line of code is doing. So attach that signal called velocity computed. All right, now just call this function. You can pause the video and do as I'm doing. I really hope you guys are really trying to create the same game so that you can see how wonderful it is to create something from the scratch. All right, now move on slide, and after moving slide, we are going to flip our character from left to right according to which enemy direction is facing. All right. Now after all of this, we are going down, very down here. Let's create a attack the player. Now we need really to create something to attack the player. So we need to detect. So let's go to the signals. When body entered area, when the body entered this area, we are going to use the if condition. We need to check if body.name begins with pound. Don't forget the colon. Pound in range is equal to true. That means we can attack. We set our variable to true. Let's copy that block and change it by warrior. Then we need to change not pound in range, but of course warrior in range is equal to true. Now I guess this can work. So we need also to check when the body exited to trigger it out. So if those same bodies exited, we're just going to change this to false for them. Is equal to false. All right. Update animation. We need also to call that function. We haven't created a function, of course. That's why you can see that threads line showing. You can also see down there it is saying error 8. They show specifically which line is calling the error, of course. So down here we're going to create a variable. Let's copy it first. We are going to create that function, add update animation. So just pass, put a colon. If nodes navigation dot is navigation finish, is just basic of I can say is more than logic. Just checking if our player, our goblin, hasn't reached his target, so that means he's moving. We need him to play a certain animation. We need also to check which distance is remaining before he reaches target and stop the animation. That's what basically I'm doing in this line of code. All right. Dot target position. Down here, I'm going to check another condition also. If distance to target is less than 5, if the distance to the target is less than 5, anim.animation is equal to run. I guess it might be because of the indentation. Copy this line of code and we are going to pass it down here. Seems all right to me. I might correct it later, so let's go forward first. We'll come back to it later. Mistakes like this can happen because of the spacing. Most of the time when you move, don't press space, but use the tab G on your keyboard, because if you use space, it will show you error. Okay, now here, let's seek for the target. When the body entered the detector zone, I want to check their name. If body don't begin with pound, I will call my function seeker pound. If the body is warrior, I'm going to call my seeker warrior. All right. Let's create a function now to attack warrior. If direction dot is equal to 1, just copy the animation. Now, if anim.animation is equal to that up, let's copy this. If direction is equal to -1, down. If direction is equal to 0, side. I'll copy this. Then I'll do the same for attack pound. I could just mix them up. I don't know why I just put them in two different kind of block. Let's create a function for die, another function on top for life of goblin underscore torch. Right, life minus is equal 1. If life is less than equal 0, we call the function die. Then in function die, I need to do the same things. I need to create an effect of spawning a skull to make it very better than just disappearing. Instantiate, and you already know this kind of block of code. If you don't know, we can just pause, write it down in a notebook, or we can just directly take a screenshot. All right, it's called that direction. All this block of code, I explained it in my previous videos. Seems perfect to me. Down here, let's make a way to text directions, since we already create this in our previous video, how to detect which direction the enemy come from. Now we need to detect it in the code also, so we're just going to change that directions. Let's see if body.names begin with pound semicolon, direction is equal to 1 when it's up. Just copy the block again, change it to warrior, copy this block, pass it here. Then we're going just to change direction is equal to, for the body side is equal to 0, and the for body down is equal to -1. Damage box, same things. When the damage box, if area.names begin with, okay, I don't need to check if I need to check for on damage on body area and dead. I need to check if the arrows collide with the goblin torch to reduce the life. All right, now let's run the game. You can see there is already an error. It's because I didn't change the value. Okay, now let's run.